Okay, this is going to be routine number 1. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me with an email. But here we go. So we're going to begin by trying to tweak out and improve range of motion in the lower back. So we're going to start with a couple of movements that are going to look relatively the same. They're just going to be in different positions. So the first one we're going to do is called a bird dog, or a cat and dog. So we're going to get into this 4-point position where our legs are knees in line with the hips and hands in line with the shoulders, and we're going to put our head forward, and we're going to try to derive motion specifically from the hips to create arching in our lower back and then a rounding in our lower back. If you notice, as I'm doing this, I'm not really deriving it from my middle back, so I'll show you a couple wrong ones. And what I mean by that is, you see how my head comes forward and my arms are kind of pressing into the mat? That's not where we want to get this motion from. So you might be limited in doing this, but if you recognize that I'm just specifically deriving this motion from my lower back and hips, that's really where you want to get it from. And as you're doing these, as the days go on, you're going to notice it's going to be easier to transition from one position to the next. I would do this in a rep scheme of 10. I would do 3 sets. Conversely, we're going to get down onto our backs and do the same thing. So if you watch from there, we're going to bring our legs down, and you notice I'm going to create that arching in my lower back, specifically from my hips and lower back, and then I'm going to flatten down. And once again, I'm going to do a repetition of 10, take a break, and then do 3 sets of this. Next movement we're going to do is called a stork turn. So you can get a club or a pole, something that you can provide some balance with. And I'm going to show you from a couple positions, but front side is the best side. So if I'm going to show you here, I'm going to use this pole for balance. My leg is going to be, my right foot's going to be placed behind my left leg. I'm going to try to keep this as straight as possible, and I'm not going to bend this knee whatsoever. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to try to rotate my right knee past my left leg, using my hips to try to drive that power. So if you notice, everything, my shoulders aren't moving, my body isn't moving. The only thing that's moving is my pelvis in this position. Now, it might take you a couple of days to do this once again, and you might be deriving the motion from other places to begin with, but over time you should notice that it will get easier. The pole is especially important for balance to begin with, and if we switch sides, you might notice one side is easier to do than the other. Show you from the side position. We'll just do the left leg behind the right knee. You're kind of in like the stork pose. We're just doing rotations. So I would do, once again, a repetition of 10 to 20, and I would do 3 reps with that. Using the pole and continuing on that vein, we're going to do soleus stretches to create some ankle flexibility. So if you watch my feet, I'm going to space my legs out so that I'm kind of in the Spencer stance. And what I'm going to do is create a soft bend in my knees. And you should notice on this back leg that it starts to feel loaded down near your Achilles. From here, I'm going to try to take and continue that load with my knee. So I'm continuing that stretch but taking my left foot away. And I'm going to just push towards the front of my right foot. So I'm going to go right towards the front. If this is too hard, what you can do is use the wall. And I would probably suggest starting with the wall. So once again, we're going to space those legs out in like a fencer stance. Bend our knees down. I'm going to take my left foot and bring it to the front of my right. So if you watch from a back to front position, it looks something like this. So my left foot is going to the inside of my right foot, as I'm maintaining that load on the back line of my right leg. So I would do 10 reps of that and 3 sets. And then into the last movement we're going to do for this video, which are hip circles. So if you get down on the floor, and what you want to do with this is try to create an opening with the hip. So my right leg is going to come down towards the floor, and I'm going to bring my knee up as far as I can, and then bring it down and in. Actually, let me get you a separate video for this one. So you'll get a second video for this.